An almighty Bitcoin crash is coming, and the question is, are you prepared for it? I've been talking about Bitcoin's move to the downside for quite some time. You can argue that I've been bearish on BTC for way too long, and I'm not going to disagree with you. I think I have been bearish on BTC and on the crypto market for longer than I would personally like. However, it doesn't change the fact that things are not looking that strong for Bitcoin. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another walk and talk where I grab the camera, get away from the desk and just talk to you in a raw, uncut way of what is going on in the crypto space, right? And so, as the intro was kind of talking about there, I am expecting a pretty big correction for Bitcoin. And I'm going to go through a few different scenarios today with you guys that I don't generally like to talk about too much because they are a lot more bearish than what I've been talking about, and I would much rather kind of see the more tame version of what is potentially on the horizon here for Bitcoin. But there is some good news, right? Okay, so although bearishness is one of those things that I can't avoid right now because that's what the data suggests to me, the data also suggests that it is going to be short term or medium term, and once it's done, we're going to be in probably one of the biggest bullish markets in entire crypto history, right? And so there's short-term pain for long-term gain. That's kind of how I want to articulate today's video, I guess, to a point, right? And so Bitcoin is likely to see a pretty significant reduction in price. Now, this is something I've been talking about for a while because the data has suggested it for a very long time, and we're only really just starting to see a bit of a downturn in the Bitcoin price. And when this video goes out, in fact, it'll probably be really interesting because I'm actually expecting a bit of a bounce on Bitcoin to rise up a bit, and so I imagine that the comments down below will be quite negative towards the video saying that I'm just a perma bear because Bitcoin's price has moved up a little bit. I want to be really clear here. This video is a macro view, and it takes a long time before you actually start to see the rewards of what I'm talking about, right? It takes quite a significant period of time before you actually start to see these things materialize. So patience is kind of the key thing, right? So let's get into this in a little bit more detail. Bitcoin has historically had multiple sell the news events, right? And so the Bitcoin spot ETFs were a fantastic speculative play by retail investors. And one of the things that we need to understand when it comes to the current state of play for Bitcoin is whether or not we are in a position of profit on those investors or not, okay? And why do I talk about this? This is actually quite an important one. So the majority of the Bitcoin supply right now is in profit. Okay, that means that the people who were speculating on the BTC spot ETFs are winning, right? They've got fantastic portfolios that are in the green right now. However, we are and has historically seen corrections from these areas, right? And that's not to say that this is the top of a bullish market. I think this is a taster of what is to come. Ultimately, from these high areas of the percentage of supply that is in profit, we have seen a significant downturn on price. Okay, and so we want to be quite aware that the data, not only from like a charting point of view, gives us these bearish outlooks, that we have to kind of appreciate that Bitcoin's price is likely to go down to, in my opinion, at least $30,000, where that's the majority of where the Bitcoin supply was purchased. Then we can also see inside the on-chain analytics that things are not where they need to be, at least not yet. And that's the opportunity, right? Because although bearish kind of statements that I talk about, like a Bitcoin crash being imminent and just around the corner, is an opportunity. It's not something that we should fear, nothing that we should kind of call or label up as FUD or anything like that. Essentially, what I'm saying here is that when Bitcoin's price does inevitably, and in my opinion slowly, grind its way down towards at least $30,000, the altcoins will be 50% off to a point. I still see the potential of money rolling out of Bitcoin into the altcoins and seeing all that kind of stuff as per yesterday's video. But for the most part, what my expectations will be that when that pullback happens, we see the profit or the supply that's in profit actually dropping significantly, as in people start to not be in profit anymore. That causes a bit of panic at the retail investor level. And why do I talk about the retail investors more than I talk about institutional level investors, right? Institutional level investors, it's great to talk about them. It's kind of what we want. We want loads of institutional level investment in Bitcoin and in the crypto space. But the reality of the situation is that there are no real new there's no new institutional level investors, only retail investors. And this is where that supply in profit is really coming in. We can see that over the last year, so pretty much all of 2023, in that fantastic run to the upside, there was only really selling pressure from larger whale investors. So people who own 1,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin, they were selling in 2023. And they were selling to the retail investors that were speculatively purchasing Bitcoin on the news of the Bitcoin spot ETF going to 150,000, 200,000, pick a number, finger in the air kind of job, right? And so it was always in my mind going to be a sell the news event. We started to see that. Okay, we went from 48K to 40K very quickly. And I don't think we've really finished where we are right yet. I think we've got a much further to go in terms of Bitcoin's price action. And so with large institutional level investors, we call them whales, not really backing the price of Bitcoin, the majority of the Bitcoin supply being in profit, as in retail investors currently are in profit. I would say that as price pulls back further, the more panic is going to set in, as retail investors typically, and I say typically, are emotional about their investments. Sometimes they overexpose themselves to assets such as Bitcoin. And this is really for the majority rather than the minority, because I do think that there's going to be a minority of retail investors that will see this as an opportunity to dollar cost average, to build those positions and not to worry, not to stress and not to panic. There's definitely going to be exceptions to what I'm talking about. In the same way that I say that you should follow the money, you don't blindly follow what they say, you should follow the money, okay? And then of course MicroStrategy is the exception, right? They literally are Bitcoin maxis, right? And so they are basically just going to buy Bitcoin at whatever price because they believe in the longer term view. But they're the exception, they're not the rule, okay? The rule is quite simple. You can't trust the words of these billionaires and these institutional investors. They'll tell you one thing whilst doing something totally different. And there's examples, countless examples of that across the history, whether that's the stock market or even in the crypto market as well. And so with all the on-chain analytics indicating to us that Bitcoin's price is likely to pull back quite significantly, with the charts indicating that the next real key areas of support are, you know, 37, 38,000, and of course $40,000, that ultimately the next direction for Bitcoin is to the downside. Now, don't get me wrong, I expect that we'll see bounce from here and there, and you know, nothing moves in straight lines. There'll be the occasional relief rally, and it's going to be fantastic to, you know, take advantage of going short and going long as the charts kind of dictate that you should. But ultimately, in the longer term, over the next kind of 1 to 2 months, maybe even 3 months, Bitcoin's price will slowly work its way down to $30,000. Maybe retail investors won't even notice for a while, but it will happen in my opinion, and it is going to be a huge opportunity to get into Bitcoin and to potentially buy altcoins with a 50% discount. So why don't you check out this video here where I discuss a little bit more about what is going on in the crypto space.